All right, here we go. Welcome to Travel Mouth, guys. We're back, kind of back in a different format than we had done before. And I've got a co-host with me. It's Chef Les. How you doing
How's it
tonight,
going, guys?
Chef?
Doing good, doing good. How you, sir?
Man, I'm excited to do this. It's been a while. I've got a lot to say. It's been a minute since I've had a chance to get on here and talk about food. And we've got a special guest today, Joshua Florhaug. How you doing today, Joshua?
Hey, I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so happy you're joining us.
And I love friendship. So
this is a place you have come to the right place, man. That is what I'm all about is food, and then the people behind that food. I feel like it's the way we connect to each other. Even primally, we're able to like kind of make these connections where we feed each other and take care of each other. And I love it so much. So man, if that's what you're all about, I think this is going to be great.
It is. I do have a very expensive Le Cordon Bleu degree. So
are you serious?
Yeah, I do. The now defunct Le Cordon Bleu. I gave them $60,000.
Honestly, I didn't know you. Wow. All right. Well, I didn't even know that. I thought we're having this like comedian on. I didn't know you had the food chops.
Yeah. I also
That's
have
amazing.
That. It's very surprising because like I live in LA now and I work in restaurants like every other actor and comedian, and they're like, oh, this is another guy who doesn't care at all. And I'm like, actually, I care more than anybody, and I probably have more knowledge. So it's kept me employed.
For sure. And that's kind of how this came about is, Jeff and I did a podcast on one of the main topics was Toblerone. I think we talked about whiskey, talked about, working in kitchens. And if I'm ever out of the manufacturing gig, I'd like to get into the kitchen. And then I met Josh at a bar in
I was bartending. I am still bartending there. I bartended there 2 days.
And he pours a strong drink, and
that's my life.
We became friends.
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago, so I haven't been fired yet.
Nice. Day by day.
Well, so you're in LA now. Where'd you start out? Where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up? Like, give us a little bit of a background.
Okay, I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Awesome.
And my mom got sick of
in Minnesota.
Yeah, my mom got sick of the winters when I was like 13 or 14 and moved us to Arizona. And then I went to high school, and then I went to Scottsdale Culinary Institute.
Nice.
And received my bachelor's in hospitality and restaurant management. Graduated in 2008, the best time to graduate college. And then when the economy and housing market crashed, I found out the Midwest was still doing good, so I moved back home.
Yeah.
And then in 2014, 2015, I started stand-up comedy, and then I was like, you know what? We're putting everything on the back burner, and we're doing this now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So he's also been in a Little Caesars commercial.
I was the Little Caesars guy. If you guys remember last year during the football season.
Amazing.
George Kittle commercial with the guy strapped to the chair. I was that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're pursuing as well? Like you're going to audition to do that kind of work as well?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird. We'll just get into it. That's a weird new thing. So, in the pandemic, I took a ton of acting seminars. I've never gone to traditional acting school. I just, the pandemic, everybody was offering like free classes and free everything just to kind of figure it out. I took all of them. I was like, I'm going to learn everything. Dude. And I did that. And then out of the pandemic, took a little time off of comedy and everything. We'll get into that in a minute. And got an agent. And my first audition, I did so bad. I didn't know how to look at anything. I didn't know eyeliner. I didn't know anything. And I was like, I'm so bad at this. So my second one, I had big curly hair. I used to keep my hair very short. I had big curly hair. And I was like, screw this audition. I'm not going to get it anyways. I'm just going to go and have fun. And then just try to figure out how to do this. And that ended up making me the face of Little Caesars for the NFL season.
That's fantastic.
It's the worst because like I do work in restaurants in LA, and I know many people who have been pursuing this acting thing for like 10 years to very little or no notoriety. And then my face couldn't be more on TV from a guy who is just like, I'm just going to go goof around.
I thought you were going to feel bad for going to culinary school and then going to work for Little Caesars.
Oh, you know what? I don't love Little Caesars. I don't. I think their pizzas really have a time and a place. I'll get Little Caesars every now and again.
It's got a good price point.
That's what it is. Little Caesars is great for like 10 p.m. and you got $6 cash.
Yep.
But I still go to. I'm a touring comedian. I still hit up all the fast food. So there's a time and a place for all of it. Even though I do have this fancy pants culinary degree, and I have eaten at some of the better restaurants in the country, and have gotten to eat some of the better foods. I'll still put down a McDouble. I'll still do it all.
So what foods are you still into since your childhood in Minnesota? Are you still eating hot dish and that kind of stuff? Do you make any of that?
I love hot dish, and this just came. Oh my gosh, I'm happy you brought this up. Because I don't know if you guys know what it is. My girlfriend didn't know it.
Go back for a second. What is hot dish?
Hot dish. We're gonna get into the thing else.
All right.
Hot dish is tater tot casserole.
Okay.
It is corn. It's ground beef. It's cream of mushroom soup. And then like other spices and veggies you could put in. Peas is a big one, just frozen peas. And then you put tater tots across the top of it like you would do a pie dough. And then you eat that. It is so good, and it's as white trash as it sounds.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Also another food, since you brought that up, I just had this talk with my girlfriend. Do you guys know what veggie pizza is?
What was that?
Veggie pizza. Vegetable pizza. Not a pizza with veggies on it. Not a crust, red sauce, veggies, cheese. This is I hope there's people out here who know what it is, or else I'm just so white trash. It's laid out pastry dough like crescent roll dough.
Okay.
And then you cook that off, and then you make a cream cheese with like Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning spread. You spread that on, and then you just put cut up raw veggies on it. Usually my family would do red peppers, mushrooms, broccoli, and carrots. And then you'd eat that cold. You would eat it cold. You chill it.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like a very good appetizer. It's it's one of my favorite things to make on a football Sunday.
Okay. Never heard of it.
Now that I live in the Southwest, I'll throw some jalapenos on it.
Oh, well, I'd have to throw some meat on there, but I'd eat it.
No, it has to be all veggies. It has to be all cold vegetables.
Last time I was there, I had a Snickers salad, which was actually
big.
Yeah, it was actually better than I expected.
What is Snickers salad?
It's like, do you know what fruit salad is? Like fruit and then like Cool Whip.
Sure.
It's like that.
It's not that.
It's not that. That's like a base. It's like, if you know what that is, now make that unhealthy thing more unhealthy.
So you throw Snickers in there.
Yeah, you throw Snickers and then chocolate and it's just candy and whipped cream, but they call it salad, and that's why our whole area is fat.
I love it. That's awesome. Very cool.
Oh, I can't believe we brought Snickers. We had Snickers salad. Don't feel bad, but my dad died, and we had his funeral, and my aunt brought Snickers salad, and I was like, oh my God.
I'm gonna steal that that's gonna be on my list. When I go, I want to be shot out of a cannon. I want everybody eating Snickers salad.
Snickers salad, yeah.
You want all our teeth to be just as bad as you.
I love that. That's something that's really big with me, Joshua, is regional food in general. I'm just fascinated with it. And then if I can ever get stories from people on even, these really weird ones, sometimes it's like, how in the world did that ever come about?
Pasta, any kind of pasta salad or potato salad. There's 4,000 different, any family function you go to, that's most of the food. It's just cold noodles, mayo. If they're doing it desserty, they're using Cool Whip, which is in the Snickers salad. Right. And it's just that. And then just random stuff like tuna and celery and peas and everything in the Midwest.
All right. How about an old fashioned in Minnesota? What do they use in there? I know in Wisconsin they use brandy. What about Minnesota? Now that culture has caught up to the Midwest. It's a regular old fashioned, but the brandy old fashioned in Wisconsin that's it in the whole Midwest. And here's
brandy. I've never had a brandy old fashioned.
Oh, and it's tall too. They put a lot of sour mix in it.
Interesting. Okay,
it's real weird. It's served in a tall glass. So I went to culinary school, and I went for hotel and restaurant management. So I have more of a front of the house degree than a back of the house degree, as far as that goes. So I took some extensive wine and bartending courses. I knew what a real old fashioned was since the early 2000s. It didn't catch up to the Midwest. One time,
till Friday.
I was on a fishing trip in Wisconsin, like on the Great Lakes, and we went to this bar. And this is gonna blow your guys' mind because you live in real cities. They had Maker's Mark 46, and I was like, I want an old fashioned, but I want it made like this. And the lady's like, all right. And she's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I want Maker's Mark 46. And she goes, honey, it's not happy hour. That's going to be like a $9 drink. And I was like, I'm going to die of alcohol poisoning in this.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was like, yeah, that'll be fine. She goes, I'll pour it strong, honey, just for you. And she poured me like the biggest old.
Nice. You got your $9 worth.
I had 2 and had to be like carried out of there.
That's great. That's awesome.
What about you? Okay, so you're California, and then Jeff, where do you live?
Well, I grew up in California. I lived in both Northern and Southern California, so definitely a California kid.
Yeah.
I'm in Seattle area right now.
Okay. What do you guys have? Are you Dick's Burgers? That's the thing, right?
We do have Dick's Burgers.
Yeah. I know where every burger spot in this country is.
And that's one of those time and place things too, I would say. The price point and the availability, and that, I don't know, they're one of those companies too that's a really good community partner. And so I kind of put that on them when people are visiting. They're like, oh, we got to go to Dick's. I'm like, don't get your hopes up. It's not going to blow your mind as far as like an amazing burger or anything, but just, I don't know, they pay well. Their customers seem happy. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, I want to support them for other reasons maybe than the burger. Burger's fine.
Well, that's how like the Juicy Lucy is in Minneapolis. Like none of those companies do anything charitable, probably, but like it's like, don't people are like, oh, I want it. I'm like, it's just cheese in the middle of the burger. Don't think it's gonna be the greatest. And that's kind of the cool thing about city food is it's great and you can only get it there and it's cheeky. But like I think everybody puts a lot of it on a huge pedestal. Like they're like, this is gonna change my life.
Yeah. Well, Seattle, you also have the Gooey Duck clam chowder, right?
Ooh.
We do have some really good chowder. Oh yeah.
Okay.
The gooey ducks are very seasonal, so you can get that for a very, very short amount of time every year. But yeah, definitely. Just the seafood in general here is just amazing, and that's a big part of one of the things I decided when I moved here. I was like, I must eat more seafood because I've always been a Midwest kind of steak and potatoes.
Yeah, that's how we were.
Burgers too.
We had walleye. So. That was my only taste of seafood forever. Was just whitefish. Well, I didn't have salmon until I was like 15.
Well, the salmon I had growing up was my mom would buy the cans of salmon and make salmon patties with breadcrumbs. That was my version. That's the salmon I had.
Tuna. I didn't know tuna steaks were a thing till college.
No.
Yeah. It's the Midwest is pretty pretty insulated from some of that stuff
Midwest
for a while.
We have pork and beef and chicken, and you can choose. The up until I learned what sushi was, my only introduction to tuna was tuna fish sandwiches and tuna noodle casserole.
Oh, nice.
Are you guys big tuna noodle casserole guys?
No.
I
hate it. I hate it, but my brother
weirdly
loves it. We all live far away from each other. So for some reason, every time we go visit my mom and she's like, do you want something from your childhood? My brother is the first one to be like, I want tuna noodle casserole. And we have I'm 37. I still have to eat it. Terrible.
That's awesome.
Well, I actually had a tuna noodle casserole that I guess it's famous at a pizza place there. It's a jalapeno tuna noodle cold something. I don't know anyway, but I had that last time I was there too, and it was amazing.
What pizza place?
I can't think of the name of it.
No,
I know there's not. But there's some pizza place there that's just on their menu, and it's called. If I could remember the name of it, I can't right now. But anyway, it was one of those things where like there was a bowl of it in the fridge, so like everybody just keeps going back to it and snacking on it. And snacking on it. It ended up feeding us like all week, so it was great.
Ooh, Minnesota also. Since you're familiar with the Midwest, we have pizza that you can't get most places.
Tell us about it.
Okay.
It is. It's the actual Chicago style pizza, which if you live in Chicago, it's their real pizza. It's the cracker crust thin, big toppings under a mountain of cheese pizza.
Yeah, dressed to the edge.
Yep, dressed to the edge.
Cut into squares.
Cut into squares.
That's what I see. I grew up on that, and I actually grew up in Ohio.
Pizza is my favorite pizza. You can't get it out here in LA.
I grew up eating this pizza from a company called Casano's, and they were just inspired by Chicago Tavern.
Yeah.
So I love that pizza. And you know what I noticed too when I was in Minnesota is there's a bunch of companies doing frozen pizzas, but like good frozen pizzas.
Haggies.
There's like
Haggies frozen pizzas.
Yeah.
Pizzas. A lot of bars are just can we start on this podcast?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. So they're just shithole. I've been doing so good. I've been like really trying.
The pull tab bars. No, you should have been swearing early on.
Look, we only our target audience is Mennonites.
Oh, Mennonites
or Men in Tights.
Men in Tights. I love Robin Hood Men in Tights.
So do I.
So yeah, pull tab bars. So pull tabs are, I like to call them analog slot machines.
That's what they are.
They're just paper slot machines, but every bar has them, and even bars with like 20 seats have pull tabs, and then they'll have one of those little like at-home pizza ovens, the one you just like pull the little slot out.
Yep.
Those little
pull out the tray
things.
with the handle.
Yep, the tray with the handle.
Push the tray back in.
And they'll just have that and like good frozen pizza. That's all they serve in most bars. That and popcorn.
How about pickled eggs?
Ooh, I've never done pickled eggs. I don't like hard-boiled eggs too much, but I've seen pickled eggs in a lot of places.
You don't see those very often anymore. And I feel like I have memories of being a kid, and I don't know, maybe my grandpa, my dad took me into a bar, and I remember seeing jugs of pickled eggs, and I just imagine these old winos sticking their arms in there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was just grab it and then they'll charge you. I'm sure there wasn't like, let's use the tongs. No, they're barely washing the glasses you're drinking out of.
Well, yeah, and those are the days where you'd go to the bathroom and they had the hand towel on some circular thing that just cycled back through the machine.
And
they were different times.
And the pee trough. You guys remember a trough?
Yeah.
Oh, a trough. It's just a big, like a big tub that you piss into.
Oh yeah.
No, there's not one urinal. You're just all peeing into the same bowl.
And if it's a fancy place, it'll be filled with ice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey. Whoa.
The Metrodome where the Twins and the Vikings used to play, all trough. Nice. No urinals, all trough. So I'd just be like 8, like waist high to a bunch of drunk men just peeing kind of in your face.
Yeah. If you want to show off, you don't use your hands.
I'm white. I'm using my hands every time. And hands is a real give. It's a hand.
So what are your foods of choice now? You're living in California. You're eating different food. You're with all the cool kids.
I'm with all the cool kids. I'm still just eating.
What are you eating now?
I'm just eating Pastor. To be totally honest with you, taco trucks and food stands. When I moved here, I lived in Burbank. There was like one right by my house, like the traditional stand with the tent and the Pastor on the spit. I was like, I can't believe people are eating that. Within 3 months, I was like, I only eat here now.
No. The meat markets, the Mexican meat markets here are great. The Al Pastor, the carne asada.
It's a shock to be a Midwest guy and see like people selling tacos on the street because you're not used to that. You're like, I don't think that's gonna be good to eat, and then you eat it and you're like, I'm only eating this.
You came from eating tuna noodles.
Tuna noodles, yeah. These people. I was eating tuna noodles and Snickers salad, and I'm like, I'm not gonna eat meat off the street.
That's great.
Oh, now I'm doing that. LA they're doing a lot of smash burgers, so I try to go to all those places and try them.
Nice.
That's the best part about this place. You don't need to eat at the same place twice. You can try new stuff. Everything is, LA's cool with the cool kids. So like, it's like, have you gotten this Cuban sandwich out of a laundromat? There actually is a really good Cuban sandwich out of a laundromat in Key West.
Nice.
Florida. In case you guys go to Key West, there's a laundromat that has Cubans, and it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned tacos and burgers and sandwiches. Those are all things that you eat with your hands. And I've noticed that I just love eating food with my hands.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about the actual act of no fork, no knife, no plate, no nothing, but the act of like putting the food in my face, I feel like I experience it differently. And I don't know. It's like I feel like I missed
America.
What's that now?
We don't do that enough as a culture in America. In culinary school, I dated a girl from India. My college sweetheart was Indian. We broke up because I was white. Her mom didn't like that.
Nice.
Her brother had an arranged marriage like a month before we met. I was never gonna be the guy for her.
The writing was on the wall.
Yeah, I wasn't in medical school, but they did have me over for a weekend, and they would just eat with the bread. They most of the meals when we had birria and stuff, you just ate with the bread. There was no silverware even on the table. They gave me silverware. And then I was like, nope, don't use it, Josh. It's like the chopstick thing where they bring you the fork and you're like, I can do this.
Yeah, my first wife was Indian. We're married 13 years, and had to learn. And it's a different, there's different cultures.
The scoop.
Some use naan, some use roti.
Yeah, it's an art to scoop that last of the to get around and scoop that last of the sauce. Yeah. I watched your mom and dad do it, and I was like, wow, these guys are food. There's not a speck on that plate.
Yeah.
There's a
another thing about Josh, because I'm really interested in you were roommates with Louis.
I did live with Louis Anderson for a long time.
What did he like to eat?
What did he like to eat? All right, we're gonna get into this. This is where I tell all. Louis, I lived with Louis during the not fun parts of not fun. Louis was the greatest of all time, but he was older when we met and we started touring together. So there was always it was maybe 3 days out of a 10-day tour, he'd be like, I'm getting my shit together and we're just eating this. So there'd be a lot of days where we'd just have meat and veggies, and then we would just cheat and eat shit.
Nice.
Places Louis loves. Carney's here in LA. He loves Carney's so much, and he didn't want it to show up because his business partner and his money manager was a friend of his. He would always make us pay cash. I knew when we were eating good when he was like, yo, how much cash do you have on you? Because I was like, oh, he's gonna reimburse me and we're gonna go somewhere terrible. And he toured the country for 40 years, so he knew where everything was.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
During the pandemic, we had a meal plan that they would bring over, and then we'd get till about Wednesday, and then we'd just Uber Eats pasta or barbecue. We got a lot of barbecue. I wish I could think of that place's name. Maggiano's. We ate at the chain Maggiano's because during the pandemic, they were doing meal plans, but they weren't healthy. They were just you can get 8 meals for $40. And I remember when Louis saw that commercial, he was like, I got $100. It's it's just the two of us. He's like, yeah, but then you don't got to leave for a couple days. And I'm like, it's 16 meals. He goes, they're small.
That's great.
We were just putting 4 cheese Alfredo ravioli on top of spaghetti, and that was dinner.
Wow.
Yeah. So we ate good, and then his rider was really cool because he was very famous. So it was always a Ruth Chris or something of the sort steak dinner.
Nice.
And they would always bring me a menu. So that was awesome. I'd get off stage and eat just the best food in the back of a comedy club or in a makeshift green room. And it's kind of the story of anybody you guys are both, have worked in food and stuff. It's that whole thing where it's I've eaten some of the best meals of my life over a garbage can.
Oh yeah.
Just because it's get this down. And I've done that in the comedy club. It's all right, here's your, steak and lobster, your scallop dinner that they brought to us. And the green room is just kind of a folding table in the side of the kitchen they're not using. So I'm trying to eat it fast and not be in people's way.
Even at home, nothing's better than eating over the sink.
Oh, I like a meal over the sink.
I get yelled at for doing that. Why don't you just sit down? I'm and I'm done.
Not interested.
Washing my hands. Washing the plate right now.
And I run such a tight schedule too with having a day job, and I bartend during the days just to make extra money, but then I go out and do sets. So sometimes I'm I'm going to do 2 sets tonight, and I worked at 8. So I ate once at work. I have an hour to come home, shower, get dressed, and then just throw whatever's left over or kind of looks good in the microwave or the oven, and then just shovel it in my mouth and run out the door. So everyone's just happy I'm eating, probably.
Yeah.
I'm like a perpetual 12-year-old. I make great dinners when we have time, but when I don't, it's a real hodgepodge of appetizers on top of appetizers with sauce I found in the fridge.
That could be fun.
What's the last thing you cooked, Jeff?
I did a pesto with a pumpkin seed pesto pasta. I actually just finished it.
Nice.
Oh, really? Nice.
It was really good. Yeah, I finished it right before the call.
Nice.
I'm doing chicken tikka tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, I found out the tikka we had in the fridge was 3 years expired, and I definitely have made tikka in between that time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's iron stomach. We all have it.
Yeah. Well, expiration dates too. I mean,
it's 3 years though. Come on.
Yeah, that's probably done. You're right.
But you know what? We didn't die.
Good.
And you're a little drunk.
She's like, that's 3 years, and I go, yeah. She goes, we had a month ago, and I go, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Love it.
You know what? The family, that's true love, is because we've both had food poisoning multiple times, so we don't have secrets anymore.
Oh yeah.
You don't know you love somebody, but they're like, you better get out of the bathroom or I'm gonna shit my pants.
Yeah, being ill in any way at the same time, where it's you can't even take care of yourself, and you got your partner that you want to take care of. That is such a
Yeah.
Both a struggle and a getting to know each other in a new way, bonding the relationship on a new level, for sure.
Yeah, we don't do it that way where we take care of each other. It's
With
every
the help.
man. The moment we both get sick, it's like every man for himself.
That's great.
I'll see you on the other side.
I'm like hoarding Imodium. I'm like, oh, there's only 2 left. I'm like, got them in my pocket. It's like Survivor. There's no allegiances in this house. I got pills hidden. I'm tucked. I got them like in the couch cushion.
So you said you got to do some touring, like
I got to do a lot. I'll get into that a little bit.
Tell us about that.
Louis is my great uncle. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Wow. All right.
People
you just keep dropping them. You got all kinds of fun stuff.
But he's my great uncle, and I'm 37 years old. So he was famous and gone before I did comedy. Before I was born, he got famous in the early 80s.
Yeah.
So I didn't know him, and I liked stand up. We used to watch it as a kid, like the 90s and early 2000s specials. That was like a big deal in my house. We would order Pizza Hut pizza, and we watch Friday night stand up on Comedy Central.
Nice.
So all those guys are such my heroes, and I wanted
love that you connect the food to it too. I do the same thing. Like if you ask me about a memory, I'm going to tell you what the food was for sure.
Like now that you know that Louis is my family, that was his whole thing, and my family has not changed since then. Food is how we bond. Food is what we use to cope. It's everything. So Louis written 4 books and had a giant career based on his issues with it, sadly. But
sure.
We have got, because when I get sad, my girlfriend has to be like, when I'm having a real bad day, she'll come in at midnight and I'm having third dinner. And she's like, hey, do you just want to talk about this, or do you want to eat a whole rotisserie chicken at 1 a.m?
And look, I just did my Ozempic.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm going to eat a rotisserie chicken and bury my sadness in a stomach ache. Just like my family before me. So he's my great uncle, and I didn't know him. I did comedy as a bucket list thing. I happened to be good right away. I won a contest my first time on stage in the back of an Ethiopian restaurant.
Nice.
Won a $20 bar tab, drank 4 Captain Cokes.
Nice.
I don't know why. That was in 2015. And then I had a friend who brought me out to host for him at a wine bar in Wisconsin. And that guy was putting on a summer festival, and I was fairly clean in my stand-up. He saw a kid he could take advantage of very much. And then he asked me if I wanted to host for Louis Anderson for gas money, which should be a way better paying gig. Louis explained to me that I should never let someone fuck me like that again. And that's where we met. We met at that show, and I was like, hey, will you please watch my set? And he was like, how long have you been doing comedy? I was like, 6 months. And he's like, I'm not going to watch your set. And I was like, watch it and tell me how it is. And he's like, just have fun. That's where you're at right now. He's like, we don't need to start sharpening knives. We just need to learn how to make a knife. And I'm a hard worker, like through the restaurant. Like you just learn how to work so hard in food. So I was just like, no, I want this challenge. And I made him watch my set, and I got off, and he had a notebook that he was going to write it, and he threw it at me. He didn't write anything down. And he goes, holy shit, you can do this. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, just slow down. And then I didn't slow down for like 5 years. I just still talked very fast. But he started bringing me out more and more. And then I was going out on my own and touring on my own in the Midwest. And a lot of other local people were bringing me out. And I happened to get good and started headlining and stuff in the Midwest. And that's a whole circuit. And he kind of sat me down in 2017. And he was like, you could work the circuit forever and make an okay living, or you can move to LA or New York and go for broke. He's like, I moved to LA, so I got connections there. And then I moved out, and then the pandemic happened right before we got to use all those connections. And then sadly, when the pandemic ended, he got cancer and died.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, he did. Oh, this is fun. This is such a fun food story. And I've never told on a podcast. This is so fucked up.
Bring it.
Yeah, we're going to do it. So I was with Louis when he was diagnosed with cancer. He had some doctor's appointments. This is how Louis always pitched things to me. To just talk about, I don't want to make everything about Louis because this is about me now. He's dead.
I'm glad he got to pass the torch, though. That's pretty cool.
He did. We had very sweet moments. But this one's not one of them. Anytime he came to LA, he would always pitch the day like it was going to be fun. He'd be like, hey, man. And this day was just the same. He goes, hey, man, you want to go to lunch at Chin Chin? And I was like, yeah, we'll go, because his favorite thing in the world was the Chin Chin Chinese chicken salad. He's like, do you want to go have chicken salads? And then we'll go and do some stuff. And I'm like, hell yeah. He goes, cool. We just got to go to these 4 appointments, and then we'll go do that. That's how he always pitched it to me, call me, and be like, hey, do you want to go eat here? And I go, yeah. And he'd be like, so we just got to go to these 3 meetings. And I'm like, what? It's just how he got me to drive him around because he hated driving. So it was one of those situations. He was like, bring me to the doctor. And I'm like, all right, we'll do this. And he called me the day before and he was like, I'm not feeling good. You got to bring me in right now. And I'm like, okay. So we went to Cedars-Sinai, which they take care of celebrities very well. We've all seen that on TMZ. They have a secret entrance. We got to go through that, which kind of felt cool, even though I knew it was going to be real serious. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this moment for a second too. So we go in and it's very sad. He gets all his tests ran. Louis had cancer 10 years prior. It got cured and he was told it was going to come back. Never told me any of that until we got to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
So very sad. A lot of emotions are high. And the oncologist comes in and I'm crying and he's letting me know that Louis has cancer and he wants to start chemo right away. And he's like, you're not even leaving this hospital. We're going to start chemo. Oh, wow. And then he leaves like, I'm going to give you 2 a moment together. And I'm crying and I'm hugging him. And Louis scrolling on his phone, like while I'm hugging him. And he goes, hey, you can stop crying. I go, why? He goes, and he just holds his phone up and he goes, Chin Chin delivers to Cedars, dude. We can just get lunch.
Wow. That's a great comedian.
That always he's like, we can get it. And then he just started ordering.
Yeah.
Like it's the scariest moment. And he's like, oh, we're still getting Chin Chin. Don't worry. And then that night we also got Fat Burger.
Nice. Wow.
They were like, you should start eating good. And he's like, I'm gonna eat clean and I'm gonna beat cancer. And then it was like 10 and they're getting him all set in his room. We had Chin Chin earlier. And he was like, there's a Fat Burger across the street still, right? Because he lived in Vegas for 15 years, but he lived in Beverly Hills for so long. He's like, is there still a Fat Burger across the street? And I'm like, yeah. I looked it up and he goes, you want to go get some Fat Burger? What's the 10-year life run? He goes, man, they ain't gonna fucking do anything today. He goes, we start that tomorrow. And he didn't start that so much that his manager friend called me and he was like, man, you got to help Louis stop Uber Eating shit to the hospital. He's treating it like a resort. I'd go into the hospital. This is how my family is with food. I'd go into the hospital. He'd have like 3 meals from the hospital brought out for just me visiting. And he'd have a bunch of apple juices and orange juices. And he was treating it like a hotel. He's like, you buy these nurses Starbucks, man, and they'll bring you anything. He's like, you want another juice? He's like, you want to bring some juices home?
Oh, that's
you got another palms to grease.
Oh, he was just greasing palms at Starbucks, man. We were just eating food. Never healthy. We never got healthy. But yeah, I was to say he got out of the hospital for a little bit. We went to the Beverly Hills Grill.
Nice.
And they had prime rib dips and ice cream sundaes. Yeah, everything's always centered about food. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you'll always have that. Like
I will
the good times that he was still willing to have instead of being the kind of person that was like, fatalistic. I have cancer. It's all over. No reason to have fun anymore. No reason to live anymore. It's kind of kind of a cool decision on his part to still want to be funny. Still want to connect with you. Still want to eat good food.
We were doing bits till an hour before he died. Because, as you guys remember, Saget died 3 days before. And Louis was very good friends with Bob.
I didn't know the timing of that was that close.
It was 3 days. Because I remember walking into the hospital. And so the comedy store is the club that they would both be at. And based on how famous you are, you could bump each other to get a better spot. And obviously, Saget was America's dad. So we'd always bump Louis. And they were good friends. So I knew both them. And then when Saget died, I walked in the hospital. Louis on every tube and every oxygen mask. And he just takes it off and he's just crying. And he goes, Bob. And I go, bumped you one last time, buddy. Bumped you one last time. And he laughed so hard he flatlined for a second.
Oh,
and
my God.
grandma yelled at me so much.
No more jokes.
That's wild.
What are you doing? And I walked out and told her. And she goes, if he would have died on that would have been fine.
Yeah.
I stand by that joke.
100%.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so we ate good. We ate good the whole pandemic. Everybody was like, oh, the pandemic was so horrible. I got to live with one of the funniest people in the world who liked to eat everything and had so many connections in Vegas. He got people to open restaurants. I believe it's Vesio's in Henderson, wasn't open. They were open, but they were just doing to go frozen meals. And Louis talked them into cooking us a 3-course meal.
Wow.
Yeah, because he knew everything. And this is what he did. He told me, he's like, fame is not as cool as you think it is. He goes, but you can always get a table at a restaurant. And you can always get a tea time. And he was like, and I've abused both of those for 40 years. He would always, like, on tour, he would always do that. That was always the coolest thing, is anytime we go, we'd be in like a shithole town in the Midwest and we go into a bar that was like, oh, our kitchen's close. We only have Haggie's Pizza. And then if I walked in with him, they'd be like, yeah, we'll fire the grill up and make you whatever you want.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Because I got to eat a lot of other food besides Haggie's Pizza at a lot of bars.
So that's something that I really feel like is a gift that people in your profession, especially comedians and in hospitality as well, they get really good at making those human connections everywhere they go, not being afraid to talk to people who they want to talk to, and finding commonalities and, I don't know, building their network gradually over time.
Oh yeah, that's what I tell everybody is I just have 2 jobs where I hang out. I'm just the guy who has to go get the drinks every time.
Yeah.
That's all I am as a bartender. I'm your friend. I'm also hanging out. I just will always go get the drink. And
then everywhere you go, you're leaving a trail of good times behind you, and connections and people and friends and stories. And that's kind of the way I try to live as well. And so I admire people who make that life choice to like make it about those connections. Sure, they're going to benefit from them. They're going to get that table, or they're going to maybe get something that's off menu or whatever it is. But like, I live for that kind of stuff. So to make that happen,
I love a getting an off menu thing.
Me too.
There's nothing I want more than a bartender to be like, what if you did it like this? This is how we do it. I'm like, I'm in.
Exactly. And to get that perspective too, where you like have freed someone up to be like, oh, there's a special thing I do, whatever, you want to try it.
Yeah.
They're going to trust you because you've already made that connection with them. You know that they know you're an appreciator already.
Yeah.
And so they're ready to open
the
themselves
art
to you a little more.
Yeah.
And exactly.
That's kind of the cool thing about these jobs I have, is I've got to connect with people. I bartended at the airport in Minneapolis for 6 years. So I've met people from all around the world.
I was thinking that the other day. I saw a bartender at the airport and I thought, what a cool job that's got to be.
The best job.
Nonstop new people.
And they're union. Every bartender there is union. So they get medical and dental. It's the best.
My goodness. Wow.
Yeah, it's the best job in the world. You also have a weird amount of regulars too. People flying for work,
just like regular travelers.
Yeah. Monday morning in my bar, the first 20 guests I knew by name. Just because they're
wild. See, I didn't think of that. I would expect it to be just constantly new faces, but I guess you would see.
It's a lot of new faces, but then a lot of people with really cool interests. I met so many people who do so many cool things in life where it's just like, oh yeah, that's a job.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I've got to wear Super Bowl rings.
I've thought about, and when you do comedy, whether it's local or traveling, either way, you're putting yourself out there to make those connections again, to have,
for sure,
to keep building your network. And I don't know. I want to do that too. And so I'm attracted to that.
I love doing it. I love being, that's my favorite thing about traveling is, stand-up comedy is being on stage is the greatest feeling in the world, but I love being in a new city and then just going out to wherever my hotel is and like walking around the downtown. If I'm in New Mexico, I'm only eating green chilies. If I'm in Kansas City, I'm eating ribs. I'm always trying to do all those things.
Eat the thing in the place. I'm real big on that.
This is my favorite thing in the world. Eat the thing in the place. Big on that. Or if I can go to a stadium and see a sporting event. Those are my 2 big things. I'm always going to eat the thing, and I'm always going to try to go to the game.
I made a cool choice on my last trip to Tokyo and got tickets to a baseball game. And I got to tell you, the Tokyo Dome baseball game is unlike any other baseball game.
That's a bucket list thing for me. Yeah, they got chants for every player.
They do.
So big.
And you got to make sure you sit in the right section if you got the apparel on, because they're very big about everybody sitting in the right sections, and it's amazing.
And what's the food like at this stadium? Is it the same as baseball food here?
No, it's going to be like a lot of the street food that you'd see there, takoyaki, and just a lot of the same things you'd see elsewhere. But something they did that I thought was pretty cool is each player has like a set meal. So if you want to order what your player's set meal is for your team, that's on the menu just like that. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
I want nothing more than that. I
know. I was like, why aren't they doing that in American stadiums? Why can't I go have the the Otani meal or whatever?
Why can't I have the Mookie Betts burger?
Exactly. Exactly. I think there's some missed opportunities in marketing that if we looked at what they're doing, sure. And they filled every second with entertainment, like any break in the play or whatever, they had something going on. Like it was a really, really well controlled, well orchestrated event.
I just got impressive. I just got to go see the Savannah Bananas.
Did you really?
Yeah. And they're in Anna, and my girlfriend got us tickets, and we went. It was so awesome.
That's great. My wife wants to go see the Savannah Bananas so bad.
I'm probably going to make her my wife for taking me. That's probably the closest.
That's great.
Probably going to lock this down if she can.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was so fun. I bet
it was.
Yeah, it is everything you want it to be.
I got to see the Harlem Globetrotters growing up, and that's what it just looks like. Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. And
that's what it is. Are they still touring? I'd go to the Harlem Globetrotters right now.
Yeah, they were amazing. That was huge for me as a kid. I was I think a young teenager when I got to see him, and that's
like late 80s, early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yep. When they had the cartoon.
Yes, yeah, they were on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, they were on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This is a random fact. I believe the Pope at one point was named an honorary Harlem Globetrotter.
Our Pope right now?
No, this was I don't know, 30 years ago.
Did you see our Pope right now was at a Chicago White Sox World Series game?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hat.
That's awesome.
I saw the picture.
He was dressed up. Probably started to fight in the parking lot.
I thought it was funny. People were saying stuff about the Malort, that he was like the Pope, the Malort Pope, and all kinds of.
Yeah, the Malort is now the blood of Christ, and the deep
that's what it was. Yeah, you're
the body of Christ.
Yeah, sprinkle on the Malort.
Yeah,
that's great.
That would be awesome. Have you guys had? I've never had Malort.
I have. I was actually talking to somebody about it earlier tonight, and they said it's even worse if you have it in a Jello shot form because it sticks around even longer. Like it's got a really long, bitter finish.
Okay.
And they said having it in Jello shot form makes it even more difficult. So if you really want to prank somebody, make them have a Jello shot of Malort. But yeah, it's rough. It's burnt tires and asphalt and bitter. Yeah. And just gasoline. Like it's one of the most ethanol forward spirits.
Why do people
really bad?
Is this just like a thing? Is this just like a fun thing that people are doing?
Totally. Right now? Okay. Totally. Yeah, it's just a dare.
Because I don't know. I draw the line at the bartender's handshake. Like I draw the line at Fernet.
Yeah,
Fernet's fine, but like I'm
not drinkable. Like Underberg is drinkable.
Yeah,
it's worse than both of those combined. Like it's.
Do you have a signature drink, Josh, that you make?
I drink old fashioned, so I like making old fashions. Like, and I just make them the way I drink them. So I guess signature drink is just whatever I'm feeling, more or less.
My latest thing is my glass is empty now, but this was tequila and squirt.
I had that the other day.
I love it.
The squirt was $1 for a 2-liter, and I was like, let me get this. And my girlfriend was like, we can mix it with tequila, and we drank tequila and squirt. It's so good.
Yep, it's like the poor man's
Squirt's an underrated, so it's the poor man's Paloma. Yeah,
exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
No.
I had somebody, I don't even know where this came from, but I had somebody make me a wild turkey and squirt one time, and they called it turkey squirts.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like, I'll have that just for the name. Turkey squirts. Yeah, I'll give you one of those.
I had a turkey teeny for my 21st birthday. A bartender friend was like, come in and I'll make you the signature birthday drink. And it's just 3 ounces of wild turkey shaken over ice, poured in a martini glass with a cherry.
I like
and
that.
I'm like, what is this? He's like, it's a turkey teeny. I go, what's in it? He goes, wild turkey.
Nothing else.
That's my grandpa's whiskey. Wild turkey. Love
my dad drank Jack, and I hate Jack. It's too sugary for me. I don't know, something about it. I'm not a fan. I'm more of like a smoky bourbon guy.
I like rye. That's probably and single malt whiskeys quite a bit, but I like rye probably the most, just because it's so varied and complex, and I like the spice.
Yeah,
I'm kind of a higher proof guy too, so I just like stuff that's kind of a little more challenging and condensed. Yeah.
Just harsher.
I guess, and it's been a journey to that. I think when I started getting into bourbons, it was all kind of weeded bourbons and sweeter ones, maybe like closer to like Jack and stuff like that. But now I really want, I kind of want to be smacked around a little bit by it.
Okay,
is what I would say.
Remember Southern Comfort?
Oh yeah, that's a sweet one. That one's too sweet for me.
SoCo is. I learned what it was when I was in New Orleans, because every bar in New Orleans has their version of it. They make it.
Okay.
It's just basically Southern Comfort started bottling it, which is crazy, but it's just their like almost sangria. It's just shit bourbon. And then they're like, how can we make shit bourbon? It's like kind of the invention of buffalo wings. It's like, how can we take this terrible bourbon and sell it. And it's like, well, if we like just soak it in fruit, it's sweet and people drink it and pour a little fruit juice in it. And that's all SoCo is. And every bar in New Orleans kind of has like, the jug or the thing on the bar with the little spout. It's been in there for way too long. Fruit should not be in there. All the fruit is white. And you're like, that's not good. Yeah. That's what every bar has. And then just somehow
you scoop that out and you put it on your Snickers salad.
Yeah. Oh, that would be delicious. It's like have you ever had like a grasshopper or a mudslide?
Oh, yes. Many years ago.
Oh,
I can't do the sweet stuff. Sweet and alcohol together is just it hits me hard.
Especially the next day.
Like I wanted to drink White Russians because I love the dude and I want to be cool, and I tried to get into that for a little while and had some bad experiences.
I'm too old for that much milk.
It was the milk.
Having that much milk.
It was too much.
Yeah. White Russians is a drink. If I have it, I'm hungover for totally different reasons than booze.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, are you hungover?" And I'm like, "No, I had too much milk, and now my stomach hurts so bad." I drink White Russians all night. My head's fine. My stomach hates me.
So let's talk about the future. Where are you headed? What you got going on? What's coming up? What would you be excited to do if it was a possibility? Like, where are you looking?
More acting stuff for sure. Now that I'm into this world, I've done 7 commercials, most of them fast food. I did a Carl's Jr. commercial. I did an iPhone commercial. I did a Snapchat Olympics commercial. Most recently, if you guys watched the Super Bowl, small football game that takes place in February. Yeah. That first commercial, the Lilo and Stitch ad where Lilo was on the field or Stitch was on the field. I was the guy chasing him.
That was great animation.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So that was my last big thing. And then just still trying to book more. Just got just taking acting stuff, trying to get more into sitcom and movie. And then I'm still doing stand-up all the time. So, I mean, my website, I put dates up all the time. Excitingly, I'm going back home to the Midwest. I'll be performing in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, the home of Line and Kugels.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
The home of Line and Kugels, which very famously makes the summer shandy. I'll be performing there.
I've had a few of those.
Yeah, I'll be performing there in October because I always go home for my mom's birthday and I always make sure that somebody else pays for it.
That's cool. See, I love that about comedy, that you can do that. Like you want to be somewhere, book it.
That's what Louis taught me.
Make it worth your while.
That was a big Louis taught me. Is like I do New Year's every year in Minneapolis because then I get to come home. I have shows, so I don't have to hang out with everybody too long, and then it pays for my trip.
Yeah,
and I've been doing that ever since. So yeah, I get to go back home. That's what I'm most excited for.
Very cool. Well, does that mean you're going and doing auditions now pretty regularly?
Yeah, I'm auditioning 3 to 4 times.
You got an agent and an agency that you're with and all that stuff.
Yeah, I have an agent, and I'm scared of them, and I have.
Nice.
Because I don't know what's kind of like. I've been successful, luckily, in the last year and a half.
Yeah, well, they're getting paid off you. It sounds like.
Yeah, they like me, and I'm like, man. Yeah. But it's one of those things where, like, I didn't go to any traditional acting classes, so like, part of me is like, man, this sheet's gonna come off eventually, and they're gonna find out. But something's still working.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Keep it rolling. Like, I feel like you're bringing like really good energy to everything you talked about. Like, you seem to chase it like earnestly.
I do, and I try to stay positive, and that's one of the big things that Louis taught me. Like, he taught me everything about comedy, and I know more about comedy than anybody ever will. But he also taught me about how to be like a great guy, and that's what he's very known for, is being so great to his fans and being a great person. So that's who I try to be, because I know I've learned in the small amount of time I've been doing it as an actor, I'm the least important person. I'm the most replaceable person on set for sure. So I try to be as thankful and as nice. Anytime we wrap, I'll do a full lap and thank everybody, from the caterer to the PA to the people signing paperwork. I just walk in and make sure I have a little FaceTime with everybody and say hi and thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what are your handles, Josh?
My handles is Josh F Comedy on everything.
Josh F Comedy.
Josh
even your OnlyFans?
Even my OnlyFans. You guys can check it out. I put more clothes on. So. You're into a guy in a sweater.
Nice. You know what? I've watched some of your videos. You are known for your cardigans.
I do wear a lot of cardigans. This is again because I don't know how to dress myself. Is someone told me I look good in cardigans, and I went and bought 11 cardigans.
There you go.
Nice. I love knits. I wish people would wear more knits.
And Louis would get mad because, like, comedy today, most people just wear hoodies, and we'd be doing these theaters, and he's so old school. He always wore a suit. So I just show up to a show at like a theater that seats 1,000, like a historic theater in like Nashville, and I'm just in like a hoodie and jeans, and he just went off on me one day. He's like, "Your whole fucking generation, you guys and Daniel Tosh." I don't know why he used Daniel Tosh. Because that's who he thinks is new. He's like, and all you guys are just wearing hoodies in these legendary theaters that should be respected. No one's wearing ties.
Hilarious.
Great.
And then so the meeting point is I'll wear a cardigan, and then if it's a really nice place, I'll wear a button-up shirt and a cardigan. But I'm still wearing jeans.
Good. You held on to
Dress
that.
pants like it's a funeral.
Well, I had one more question before we wrap things up. What 3 comedians would you say were huge influences on you? Obviously, Louis in there. We know that, but just give us
I don't
3
put him
more.
I don't put him on my list.
Okay,
he's not on my list.
Give it to us.
Mike Birbiglia.
Oh wow, nice. He's really good. I love listening.
So
to
good.
him.
Two Drink Mike and all that came out again in those late 90s, early 2000s sets.
Yeah,
and that was one of the first guys. And he tells a lot of stories. It's one of the first guys I've really looked up to. Him, Nick Schwartzen for sure, who I've got to know. Also a St. Paul, Minnesota boy. So
nice.
I didn't know that about him. That's cool.
He's also a St. Paul boy. I've got to kind of meet him, and like I guess we're kind of, I don't know if we're friends, but I'm gonna tell you we're friends.
You've hung out with him more than I have.
I have. And then I don't know, a bunch of people, just everybody. Tom Segura's, I'm a big fan of him right now. Shane's really big.
Yeah, Shane's killing it.
Yeah, I'm watching Tires right now. I auditioned for Tires. I didn't get it, but
did you? Nice.
Process, yeah.
Oh well, I mean, they're probably gonna have to have more people come along.
I was like, I'm a white trash piece of shit. Have me on the show.
You're like, put me in some coveralls. Watch, I'll totally look like I should have them on.
Just show up with a tuna casserole, and
he'd be like, yeah, you're in.
You're in.
And then I've got to work with a lot of headliners that have been really cool to me. Dean Del Rey was really cool to me. Godfrey, the New York comic, he was performing at the House of Comedy, and I was opening for him, and there was a snowstorm, and I drove him back to his hotel, and it took forever, and we got to hang out a bunch. Nice. I got to talk comedy with Dane Cook for 2 hours, which was crazy. I performed with them at the Laugh Factory, and then we hung out. And obviously, I'm of that age where Dane was the biggest thing in the world, and definitely a guy I really looked up to. And I got to sit down and chat with him about comedy. And it was the most amazing day of my life.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Again, I just think it's neat that you are getting to make these connections, and I think you worked hard for it. And so I'm really happy for you. I want the same for myself, and so I look up.
I want the same for you as well, Jeff.
Thank you. I love to travel. That's the show's called Travel Mouth because I just love to travel and eat, but also talk and meet people. And I feel like, I have things that I need to learn from people like you and from Chef Les that are out there meeting people regularly and making those connections. So
that's what it's
thank you so much for joining us.
It's about meeting people and having fun and eating good food.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Chef Les, anything else for you, man? Or is that
I think that's it. We really appreciate you coming on, Josh. Really appreciate you starting this up, Jeff. I think this will be a regular thing. We might be reaching back out to you, Josh, maybe for some connections on other folks we might be bringing on.
I got a bunch of fat friends. I got a bunch of fat friends. So
that would be fantastic.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.